This woman taught me how to be a man and how to be a husband and how to be a boyfriend. So if you haven't listened to it, go back and get your old school album and listen to Miss Lauryn Hill.
What an album it was. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is like the holy grail of hip-hop and soul fusion. The album starts with a roll call, and when Lauryn's name's called, crickets. The teacher tries again, but still nada. Fast forward 26 years, and she's still dodging that roll call. Lauryn Hill went from Grammy glory to musical obscurity, but her name's still burning bright in conversations. And for that reason, we will look at the tragic fate of Miss Lauryn Hill in this video. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. In the late 1990s, Lauryn Hill embarked on a mission to establish herself as a force to be reckoned with in the music industry. After the immense success of the Fugees' album The Score, which sold over 17 million copies worldwide, many perceived Wyclef Jean as the group's musical genius. Lauryn Hill, however, had her sights set on something bigger. She wanted to outshine Wyclef and prove that she was not just his side girl. In 1998, Lauryn Hill released her debut solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and it took the world by storm. The album was a masterpiece, showcasing Lauryn's exceptional talent as a rapper, singer, songwriter, and producer. It was a quadruple threat that solidified her status as one of the greatest female MCs of all time. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill resonated with audiences on a profound level. It sold over 12 million copies worldwide, and its impact was felt far beyond the realm of music. The album became a cultural phenomenon, capturing the essence of love, heartbreak, and self-discovery. It was a raw and honest portrayal of Lauryn's experiences, delivered with an unmatched level of artistry. Critics hailed the album as a masterpiece, praising Lauryn's lyrical prowess, soulful vocals, and innovative production. It earned her numerous accolades, including 5 Grammy Awards, making her the first female artist to win that many in a single night. The album's success catapulted Lauryn Hill into the stratosphere of fame, where she became an international superstar. With her newfound success, Lauryn Hill's bank account also experienced a significant boost. Sources estimate that between 1998 and 1999, she grossed a staggering $40 million from royalties, advances, touring, merchandising, and other revenue streams. Out of that, she pocketed approximately $25 million, solidifying her financial independence. But Lauryn Hill's rise to fame was not just about the numbers. She became a symbol of empowerment for women in the music industry. Her talent, authenticity, and unapologetic approach to her craft inspired a generation of aspiring artists. She shattered glass ceilings and proved that a woman could excel in a male-dominated industry. Hollywood beckoned Lauryn Hill onto the A-list, offering her coveted roles in blockbuster movies. She was approached to star in Charlie's Angels, but she turned down the part, allowing Lucy Liu to take the job. Lauryn also met with Matt Damon about a potential role in The Bourne Identity, Brad Pitt for a part in The Mexican, and the Wachowski brothers for a role in the final 2 films of the Matrix trilogy. Despite these opportunities, Lauryn chose a different path. While she turned down numerous acting roles, Lauryn Hill did not shy away from expanding her creative endeavors. She began developing a biography of Bob Marley, where she was set to portray his wife, Rita. Additionally, she ventured into film production, working on a romantic comedy film set in the world of soul food called Sauce, in which she was also set to star. Lauryn Hill had the potential to create a multimedia entertainment empire, combining her musical talent with her passion for storytelling. However, instead of capitalizing on her success and building an empire like J-Lo, Janet Jackson, or Madonna, Lauryn Hill chose a different path. She disappeared from the public eye, leaving fans and industry insiders bewildered. What led to this sudden withdrawal from the spotlight? What caused the Lauryn Hill of Miseducation, viewed as regal and brilliant, to morph into the Lauryn Hill of Unplugged, seen as possibly unstable? Confidential conversations with friends and industry figures, as well as a lengthy interview with Pras, shed light on the years since Lauryn Hill's zenith. Pras, a member of the Fugees, believes that Lauryn Hill is not crazy, but rather going through something that others may not understand. To truly comprehend Lauryn Hill's journey, one must walk in her shoes and consider what they would do in her situation. As Lauryn Hill's career reached its peak, the pressure and expectations placed upon her became overwhelming. In 2000, she became close with brother Anthony, a shadowy spiritual advisor who played a significant role in her life. It was during this time that Lauryn made a series of life-altering decisions that would ultimately lead to her public breakdown. We will explore this later in the video. In 2001, Lauryn Hill recorded and released MTV Unplugged 2.0, an album that would become a turning point in her career. While the album received mixed reviews and had low sales compared to her previous work, it was a deeply personal and introspective introspective project. On the record, Lauryn could be heard breaking down in tears, expressing her emotional instability, and repeatedly rejecting the trappings of celebrity and the illusions that make it possible. "I'm crazy and deranged. I'm emotionally unstable," Lauryn confessed on the album. She spoke candidly about the pressures she faced as an artist and the toll it took on her mental well-being. She revealed that she no longer considered herself a performer and had shed the public persona she had created. The album was a raw and unfiltered glimpse into Lauryn Hill's inner struggles and the battle she fought against the expectations of fame. In her own words, Lauryn Hill explained, "I used to get dressed for y'all. I don't do that anymore. I used to be a performer, and I really don't consider myself a performer anymore. I had created this public persona, this public illusion, and it held me hostage. I couldn't be a real person because you're too afraid of what your public will say. At that point, I had to do some dying." Her honesty and vulnerability were both touching and confusing to the public. She was rejecting so much of what she had spent years being, and it left many wondering what had led her to this point. Lauryn Hill was no longer willing to conform to the expectations of the industry and the image that had been crafted for her. She wanted to reclaim her authenticity and live life on her own terms. Artists often face immense pressure to maintain a certain image and persona, but Lauryn Hill chose to expose the truth to the world. She shattered the illusion of perfection and revealed the struggles that lie beneath the surface. In doing so, she challenged the commonly held belief that artists have it all together. The reality is that even the greatest ones, like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, and Michael Jackson, have moments where their stability is questioned. Lauryn Hill's decision to share her emotional journey with the world was a courageous one. It allowed her to break free from the constraints of fame and embrace her true self. While some may have viewed her as unstable, others saw her as a beacon of authenticity in an industry often characterized by deception. Following the release of MTV Unplugged 2.0, Lauryn Hill retreated from the public eye. She stepped away from the spotlight and focused on her personal life. Let's go back a few years before all of this happened. The beginning. In the late 1980s, a young and determined Lauryn Hill set her sights on a career in entertainment. Born and raised in middle-class South Orange, New Jersey in 1975, Hill possessed a natural talent that would soon captivate audiences worldwide. At the tender age of 13, she took to the stage of Showtime at the Apollo, a renowned talent show. However, the audience's harsh reception left her in tears, questioning her path in the industry. But Lauryn's mother, Valerie, had a heartfelt conversation with her daughter, urging her to persevere. Valerie's words of encouragement resonated deeply with Lauryn, instilling in her a belief in her abilities. Undeterred by the initial setback, Lauryn continued to pursue her dreams. At 17, she landed a role on the popular daytime soap opera As the World Turns, showcasing her acting skills to a wider audience. It was during this time that she began to explore her musical talents, spending nights collaborating with her friends Wyclef Jean and Pras Michel. In 1994, the trio officially formed the Fugees and released their debut album, Blunted on Reality. Despite their immense talent, the album failed to make a significant impact, leaving the group disheartened. However, Lauryn's determination and resilience pushed her to continue pursuing her musical aspirations. 2 years later, in 1996, the Fugees released their second album, The Score, which would prove to be a game changer. The album featured their iconic cover of Roberta Flack's Killing Me Softly, a rendition that resonated deeply with audiences worldwide. Lauryn's soulful vocals propelled the Fugees to new heights of success. The Score became a massive hit, topping charts and earning critical acclaim. Lauryn Hill, with her sex symbol beauty and politically savvy persona, emerged as the star of the group. Her music not only showcased her incredible vocal range, but also reflected her deep understanding of social issues. As the Fugees' popularity skyrocketed, tensions began to brew within the group. Wyclef Jean, the group's frontman, started to focus on his solo career, leaving Lauryn and Pras feeling unsupported. Lauryn, in particular, began to feel the weight of her creative ambitions. She started writing her songs, eager to express her unique vision and voice. However, Jean showed little interest in her solo endeavors, which led to a growing sense of animosity and bitterness. Despite the internal struggles, Lauryn remained committed to the Fugees and their collective success. She refused lucrative opportunities that only included her, firmly believing in the power of the group. When Pepsi approached her for a commercial, they expressed interest in her alone, excluding the other two members. But Lauryn stood her ground, stating that she would only participate if the entire group were involved. However, the lack of support from Jean took a toll on Lauryn's mental well-being. She felt that the ones she had supported and stuck her neck out for were not reciprocating the same level of support. This internal turmoil would eventually shape her solo career and lead to a transformation that would redefine Lauryn Hill as an artist. Pras Michel, another member of the group, openly criticized Jean, referring to him as the cancer of the Fugees. Pras believed that Jean was the reason for the group's initial downfall and the subsequent challenges they faced. While he acknowledged that Jean may have indirectly contributed to Lauryn's troubles, he didn't hold him directly responsible. Jean, on the other hand, politely declined declined to be interviewed, stating that he was in a different headspace and preferred not to discuss certain aspects of the past. His reluctance to address the issues only fueled speculation and added to the mystery surrounding the Fugees' internal dynamics. Lauryn, too, became guarded and selective about her interactions with the media. She felt exploited by the industry and the media's portrayal of her. In response, she demanded compensation for her time, energy, and story, refusing to participate in free interviews. This demand for payment was her way of reclaiming control over her narrative and protecting herself from further exploitation. The competition between Lauryn Hill and Wyclef Jean had always been present, albeit not for anything specific. It was a constant battle to prove who was better and who was greater. Lauryn's decision to embark on a solo career was her way of settling the score once and for all. When Jean finally offered his production assistance on her solo album, she declined, asserting that she had her vision and direction. This marked a pivotal moment in Lauryn's journey as she began to truly define herself as an artist. Simultaneously, Lauryn's love life became increasingly complicated. For years, she had been involved in a clandestine relationship with Wyclef Jean, even during his marriage to his wife. Praz believed that Jean was playing with Lauryn's emotions, causing further turmoil within the group. However, everything changed when Lauryn met Rohan Marley, son of the legendary Bob Marley, during the Smoking Grooves tour in 1996. At first, Lauryn was uninterested in Rohan, as she was still involved with Jean. However, those around her urged her to give Rohan a chance, hoping it would help her move on from her tumultuous relationship with Jean. Little did they know that Rohan came with his own baggage and drama. Despite the complications, Lauryn embarked on a relationship with Rohan, unaware of the challenges that lay ahead. Praz singled out Lauryn's first pregnancy as a turning point for the Fugees. As her belly grew, speculation arose about the baby's father. Was it Rohan Marley or Wyclef Jean? The truth remained a closely guarded secret until the day Lauryn went into labor. Jean had told a source that he was flying to be by her side, eager to meet his child. However, Lauryn used her relationship with Rohan to extricate herself from her relationship with Jean. She hoped that the baby would be Jean's, as it would force him to confront their complicated dynamic. However, fate had a different plan, and the child turned out to be Rohan's. Lauryn named her firstborn Zion Marley. For years, Lauryn claimed to be married to Rohan Marley. However, she later discovered that Rohan already had a wife. In 1993, while he was a sophomore at the University of Miami, Rohan married an 18-year-old woman from New Jersey in a ceremony in Miami. The dissolution of their marriage remains unclear, as there is no record of it. Despite this revelation, Lauryn chose to ignore it, as she had her unconventional views on marriage. To her, marriage was not defined by a piece of paper or societal norms. She believed that her relationship with Rohan was valid, regardless of legalities. Their complicated relationship would later end in 2009 after 5 kids. Like I said earlier, the desire for acknowledgement became evident during the creation of her groundbreaking solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It was critical for Hill to establish herself as the sole auteur of the album, wanting to prove that she was superior to her former Fugees bandmate, Wyclef Jean. Collaborating in the studio can often blur the lines of who contributed what to a project. This ambiguity led people close to Hill to suggest the need for documentation that would define everyone's role. However, Hill vehemently opposed the idea, believing that love and blessings were more important than mere documents. She wanted the world to know that this album was a result of her own genius. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was released, crediting Hill with producing, writing, and arranging all the music except for one track. This solidified her status as a self-contained musical genius. However, this triumph was short-lived, as she soon found herself embroiled in a legal battle. 4 producers who had worked on the record filed a lawsuit against Hill, alleging that she had wrongfully claimed full credit for music that they had contributed to. Her label, Columbia, urged her to settle the lawsuit, but Hill was determined to fight. Settling would have been an admission of guilt in her eyes. She was deeply concerned about credit, as it had eluded her in the past, particularly during her time with the Fugees. Hill refused to be seen as just a pretty face and a pretty voice. She wanted the world to recognize her talent and expertise. The legal proceedings took a toll on Hill, not only financially, but also emotionally. She had to endure depositions and discussions about her art with lawyers. It was a challenging time for her, as she had to confront the very essence of her creativity and defend her vision. The battle for credit became a defining moment in her career, and it marked the beginning of a chain of events that would turn everything a little crazy. Eventually, Hill made the difficult decision to settle the lawsuit. A source revealed that the 4 producers were paid a staggering $5 million. While the financial impact was significant, it was the emotional toll that weighed heavily on Hill. The settlement marked a turning point in her life as she realized the consequences of her fight for recognition. Hill's battle for credit was not just about the music. It was a reflection of her personal journey. She was a working mother of 2, struggling in her relationship and constantly under pressure to maintain a flawless image. The weight of supporting her family and the betrayal she felt from those she considered family added to her growing mistrust of people. Hill longed for an escape, but she didn't know how to break break free from the pressures that surrounded her. Brother Anthony. It was during her search for solace that Hill encountered Brother Anthony. This encounter would have a profound impact on her life and further contribute to the mystery surrounding her. Within just 3 months of meeting Brother Anthony, Hill began attending Bible study with him 2 or 3 times a week. She spoke of him with reverence, often starting her sentences with the words, "Brother Anthony says." According to Hill, Brother Anthony had an unparalleled understanding of the Bible, unlike anyone she had ever met before. She described sitting at his feet and immersing herself in pure scripture for about a year. However, not everyone shared Hill's admiration for Brother Anthony. Some of her friends and associates found him to be bizarre and possessive. They sensed a manipulative and aggressive demeanor in him, perceiving him as a quick talker who believed his interpretation of the Bible was the only truth. There were even doubts about his religious affiliation, with some suggesting that he didn't belong to any specific church or religion. Brother Anthony's teachings had a profound impact on Hill, shaping her beliefs and influencing her perspective on her career and her relationship with her fans. He taught her that she should be whoever she wanted to be, free from the expectations of others. According to Brother Anthony, God didn't create humans to be beholden to people and entertain them. Instead, God wanted individuals to embrace their true selves. Hill's friends and associates grew increasingly concerned about the influence Brother Anthony had over her. They believed that he was brainwashing her, making her believe everything he said and dictating her actions. They saw his possessiveness and aggression as signs of manipulation, and they questioned his true intentions. Some even suspected that he saw Hill as a cash cow, exploiting her fame and fortune for his own gain. As Hill's connection with Brother Anthony deepened, her behavior began to change. She started speaking entirely in Bible speak, quoting scripture fanatically. Business discussions were met with responses like, "We'll see what God has in store." There were even stories of Hill asking people to work on her new album for free, claiming that they should do it for God, and he would reward them. Brother Anthony's influence had a profound impact on Hill's career as well. During the recording of her MTV Unplugged 2.0 album, she faced vocal challenges, ripping up her throat during a rehearsal. Despite the setback, Hill refused to reschedule and went ahead with the recording. The album featured only her voice and guitar, showcasing her courage and talent. However, critics and industry insiders were not impressed. Some described the album as repetitive and monotonous, with only 3 chords being played on every song. It sold just 470,000 records, which is considered a commercial failure. While some worry that Hill is lost and lonely, others believe that she is going through a process of self-discovery and restructuring her life. They see her encounter with Brother Anthony as a means of shedding the burdens and struggles she didn't want to face. However, they acknowledge that it will be a long and challenging process for her to find her way back. Deep down, Lauryn Hill still possesses the desire to create music and be recognized for her talent. She has always wanted to be famous, to sing, and to hear the applause. But her motivations have shifted. She no longer wants to create music solely for the sake of pleasing others or making money for her label. She wants to create music that aligns with Brother Anthony's vision, believing that his opinion is the only one that matters. Besides Brother Anthony, Lauryn Hill had other jaw-dropping moments that left fans and critics in shock. For instance, Hill's first pregnancy came as a surprise to many, as she had managed to keep her personal life out of the spotlight. In August 1997, she gave birth to Zion. The following year, Hill released her debut solo album, which included the powerful and emotionally charged single, To Zion. The song held a deeper meaning for Hill, as she explained in an interview with Rolling Stone. "I wanted it to be a song that had 2 meanings, where Zion is representative of not just my son, but of this holy place," she revealed. "I wanted it to be a revolutionary song about a spiritual movement, and also about my spiritual change, going from one place to another because of my son." Hill's decision to embrace motherhood and incorporate it into her music was a bold move that challenged societal norms and expectations. In 2003, Lauryn Hill found herself at the center of controversy once again, this time for her bold criticism of the Catholic Church during a concert in Vatican City. It was a moment that showcased Hill's fearlessness in speaking out against injustice, even in the face of potential backlash. During the concert, Hill took the opportunity to address the pedophilia scandal that had plagued the Catholic Church. In a powerful and dynamic speech, she questioned the church's handling of the situation and expressed her empathy for the families who had been betrayed by those they trusted. "I realize some of you may be offended by what I'm saying," Hill declared, "but what do you say to the families who were betrayed by the people whom they believe?" Her words struck a chord with many, resonating with those who had been affected by the scandal and sparking a debate about the church's accountability. However, not everyone was supportive of Hill's outspokenness. The Catholic League responded to Hill's criticism with a headline that read, "Lauryn Hill flips her lid." In a news release, they stated that Hill's personal problems do not justify her rants against the Catholic Church. After all, Sinead O'Connor isn't exactly normal either, and she justifiably paid a price for her stunt on Saturday Night Live when she ripped up a picture of the Pope. We expect Hill's career, already in decline, will continue to head south. Columbia Records should show her the gate. The backlash from the Catholic League and other critics did not deter Hill from speaking her truth. She remained steadfast in her beliefs and continued to use her platform to shed light on important social issues. In 2009, Lauryn Hill made headlines once again, but this time it wasn't for her music or controversial statements. It was for her demand to be called Miss Hill. This seemingly simple request sparked a flurry of discussions and debates about identity, respect, and the power dynamics within the music industry. In an interview with Essence magazine, Hill explained her decision to adopt the title of Miss Hill and the significance it held for her. She stated, "I've always been wise beyond my years. I've always been a teacher. When I was a child, I was teaching adults because I was always learning. I'm Miss Hill because I know I'm a wise woman. That is the respect I deserve." Hill's demand to be called Miss Hill was seen by some as an assertion of her autonomy and a refusal to conform to societal expectations. It was a way for her to establish boundaries and assert her worth as a woman in the music industry. However, not everyone was supportive of her decision. Critics argued that Hill's demand for Miss Hill's title was excessive and unnecessary. They saw it as a form of diva behavior or an attempt to distance herself from her fans and the public. Some even accused her of being pretentious or demanding special treatment. In June 2012, Lauryn Hill was charged with 3 counts related to tax issues, specifically for failing to file taxes on $1.8 million of income she had earned between 2005 and 2007. During that period, she was active as a musical artist, earned money from her music and film royalties, and was involved in multiple business ventures. Lauryn Hill posted a lengthy message on her Tumblr explaining that she had gone underground and distanced herself from mainstream pop culture due to what she described as a hostile and discriminatory environment. She mentioned that she had consistently paid her taxes when she was actively working, but stopped when she needed to withdraw from society to ensure her safety and her family's well-being. In response to the charges, Lauryn Hill appeared in court in June 2012 and pleaded guilty. Her attorney stated that she would repay the back taxes she owed. However, by April 2013, she had only paid $50,000 of the $554,000 she owed immediately. A U.S. magistrate judge criticized her, emphasizing that she was not financially destitute and highlighting that her actions did not align with her words. Additionally, Lauryn Hill faced the risk of eviction from her rented home in South Orange and a civil lawsuit from the town for running a business from her home without the required zoning permit. On May 6, 2013, Lauryn Hill was sentenced by Judge Arleo to serve 3 months in prison for not filing her taxes and committing tax fraud. After her prison time, she had to spend 3 months under house arrest as part of a 1-year supervised probation. Initially, she could have faced up to 36 months in prison, but the judge considered her lack of a prior criminal record and the fact that she had 6 minor-aged children. At that time, Lauryn Hill had already paid back $970,000 in back taxes and penalties she owed. This amount also included an additional $500,000 that she had earned but didn't report as income for the years 2008 and 2009. During the court hearing, Lauryn Hill mentioned that she had lived modestly despite earning a significant amount of money, and she attributed her financial troubles to the economic system that had been imposed on her, referring to her background as the child of former slaves. She reported to a minimum security federal prison called Federal Correctional Institution, Danbury, on July 8, 2013, to begin serving her 3-month sentence. Lauryn Hill was released from prison a few days early on October 4, 2013, due to good behavior. After her release, she began her home confinement and probationary periods. During her time in prison, she had created a single titled Consumerism with the help of verbal and emailed instructions. Judge Arleo allowed her to postpone part of her confinement to tour in late 2013, but this came with strict conditions. Her journey, from her struggle for recognition on the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill to her encounter with Brother Anthony, has been tough. We've looked at the emotional toll of her lawsuit with 4 producers, the impact of Brother Anthony on her life and career, and concerns about her well-being. Despite the challenges, there's hope for her future. Her exceptional talent and unique musical perspective have made a lasting impression on the industry. Although her path is unconventional and full of obstacles, many believe she'll rediscover her true self. If you enjoyed this video, click on the card showing on your screen right now for more videos.